So welcome everyone for the third session. So we did two sessions last week on regarding the NASA space app. So today we have the session on how to do a winning hackathon pitch. Right, it's by Vidhu. So he's a senior manager at Elevate, and he was working at Meta as well previously, and Yarl IT Hub. Without further ado, I will let Vidhu to start the session. Yeah. Thank you, Vidhu.
Awesome. Thanks, Ayuran. Appreciate the intro. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Awesome. Let me try to share my screen here. There you go. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can see the screen. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. It's the full screen view of the presentation.
Yeah, full screen. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Sometimes it's just the other presenter view pops up. So I just wanted to make sure. Awesome. So, hello everyone. My name is Vithu Vijay. I'm currently the Senior Manager Innovation at Elevate. Elevate is a Canadian nonprofit. We host Toronto's largest tech and innovation festival here in Toronto. The Elevate Festival is coming up in October 7, 8, 9. So if you're interested in kind of visiting a technology conference, feel free to go check out our website, elevate.ca. We also have an innovation arm where we run startup accelerator and incubator programs. And I manage those programs. I've seen more than 100 startups go through the programs. I work with them. I help them pitch prep and also help them kind of grow and scale. So that's kind of my background. So let's dive in. Crafting a winning hackathon pitch. Awesome. So today, let's just begin with a welcome and an icebreaker, and then let's move on to why pitches matter. We will speak about why pitches matter, and then we will dive into the anatomy of a winning pitch, and then some storytelling techniques. How best we can deliver our pitch by learning some techniques that can help us to deliver a very impressive pitch. Then we will also just walk through a template and we will actually practice and potentially get some feedback. And finally, we can conclude today's session with some final tips and questions. So I really would love all of you to be as engaging as possible because this is a session that I'm sure most of you have some sort of experience pitching in your day-to-day life. So you have a wealth of information as well. So I would appreciate that joining in and sharing your own experience, your thoughts, and make this session as engaging as possible. So feel free to just unmute yourself and then just interrupt me anytime to share any ideas or thoughts that you might have. And also use the chat function here to share thoughts if you feel comfortable doing that. And so, Yurin, if I may miss some of the chat, I would appreciate if you can just kind of read the chat out for me.
Yeah,
That
sure.
help me. Super. Awesome. Moving on. Next up. All right. So I have an icebreaker question for you. What's your biggest challenge when pitching? Can I hear from you? Feel free to use the chat box and share your challenges, or if you're feeling like sharing, just come off mute and share.
This is Denny. I think one of the toughest challenges for pitching sometimes is knowing the audience and their interest.
Mm-hmm.
Is it to be technical level, business level? Is it to be of interest? Do they care about your topic and then keeping them engaged?
Correct. Yes. A very valid challenge indeed. Thank you, Danny. All right, some chats coming up. Yes, okay. Thank you, Kimia, for that. Capturing attention. Yes, okay. Presentation boring, yes. Keep it interesting. Presentation, thank you, Dhruti. Yeah, how many words you put on a slide versus how you share verbally. Thank you, Lynn. So to have that kind of a balance in designing the slide. Awesome. All right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I mean, these are some very common but valid challenges we all face when we prepare and present a pitch. So I hope I am able to capture some of your concerns and maybe give you some tips to fix and to improve your pitch. If I miss any of this, feel free to ask me at the end during the Q&A session, and we can kind of dive into this. All right, moving on. All right, so why pitches matter? So what is a pitch? So I would like to put it as a bridge between idea and impact. Because as the NASA Space Apps Hackathon participants, you all have ideas. And it is important for us to bring that ideas to life into a solution for us to create impact. And pitch is a tool that we use to make that happen. So it enables you to attract collaborators, because if you're looking for team members to build a product or service together, it enables you to do that. It enables you to get funding for your idea so that you can actually go there and build the product or service you're looking to build. And also it enables you to create that visibility so that you can put yourself out there for the customers to come and use your product. So it having a clear pitch enables you to do all of this. So it's essentially bringing your idea out into the market as a solution. And for this specific kind of a competition, judges, they reward clarity, passion, and viability. So try to bring your idea out clearly and have that passion when you pitch, and also make sure that there is some sort of viability, that there is a possibility for you to be able to execute on your idea and then share how you're planning to do so. And in hackathons, first impressions often set the tone. So it is also important that you dress comfortably and then you're able to project your voice loud and clear, and you have a slide that is memorable. Awesome. So next up, common hackathon pitch mistakes. Over-explaining tech, under-explaining the problem. This is something that I have also observed in many hackathons and even other startup kind of pitch competitions, especially if you are coming from a very technical background, you are fond of the solution that you're building. And we are mostly just kind of explaining a lot in product. And Danny kind of mentioned that, like knowing the audience and their interest and pitching accordingly. So it's important for us to understand the audience, how much of technicality the audience understand, and try to kind of explain it in a way that our audience understand our product or service. And at the same time, focusing on the problem, because it is important for the audience or the judges to understand the problem very clearly so that the solution that you're presenting actually works for the problem that you have presented. Another common mistake is reading from slides or lack of enthusiasm. So always present with passion. So when you present with passion, it always triumphs presenting a perfect pitch without any passion. So have that. And also reading from slides happens when it's mostly with like nervousness. So one way to kind of work around this is to have as much practice as possible. So you could practice with your friends, you could record yourself and listen back and keep on improving yourself. So that kind of helps you not read from slides. Another common mistake is not showing what the solution actually does. So always try to have a demo or a workflow that you're able to present to your audience or the judges so that you can actually show what you're building. And finally, poor time management. Again, so that helps with practice. So time yourself, do dry runs, have a timer, and I believe for this particular competition is 5 minutes for your pitches. So keep on practicing within that time so that when you're actually pitching, you're able to manage your time. Okay, any other common hackathon pitch mistakes that that you may have seen or you think that people make? Can I hear from some people here? Okay, so sometimes judges enjoy banter in the middle of presentation in Q&A. Presenters need to reciprocate their energy in a friendly, humorous way. Correct? Yes. Yes, that also helps. In the weeds and not focusing on the high-level issue, opportunity. Building the idea around the product instead of building the product around the idea makes uninteresting pitches. Very true, Ethan. Cool. Thank you for all those great points. Moving on. Okay. So now let's focus on the anatomy of a pitch. So first, let's focus on explaining the problem. So who and why it matters. So you would start with defining the problem, to who is the problem and why it matters to solve the problem. Then you would move on to the solution. Ideally, you should be able to explain your solution in one sentence as a concise idea. It is important for you to be able to do that so that enables you to kind of have a clear understanding about what solution you're building and also gives you that ability to provide that to anybody out there. And then you can kind of build on that solution. Then the third part would be how it works. So explain key features, what kind of data or tech you're using. And ideally, this is where you would also want to show a demo or at least a workflow based on what you have built. And then talk about the impact. So who benefits from this product and the scale of change you're able to make using the product or service you're building. So the impact needs to be quantified. So if you can have quantifiable impact statements, if you can measure the impact that could come out of your product or service, and if you can quantify and clearly state the impact, that will be a very powerful statement. And finally, always have call to action or next steps. A call to action can be you're looking for partners to join, co-founders to join, or you're looking for funding, or you're looking for mentorship, or you're looking for a specific resource. It could be anything, but it's important for your pitch to have call to action so that the audience know what you want from this pitch, and also share some of the next steps that you're planning to do. Awesome. Do we have any questions here? Okay, so now let's jump into a quick activity. Let's try to create a pitch using this framework and try to present so that we can kind of learn and see how best we can improve. Can I have a problem? Does anybody here want to share a problem that maybe we can work with in this practice? Feel free to share, like, it doesn't have to be like the problem that you're, yes, perfect. Pretty, marine debris. Okay, so would you like to share a bit more about the problem, specifically focus on like who and why it matters?
So like marine debris is like when there's like garbage and trash in the oceans, and it affects the marine animals because it leads to like it harms them, it harms their health because they like digest the food and the plastic and stuff, which harms their health, and it's bad for the environment as well.
Yes, very good. So you touched on who the problem is for the marine animals. And also you mentioned like why it matters. But can you maybe think a bit more on why it matters?
Okay, so like if you don't address this issue, then a lot of marine animals will die, and yeah, it's not good for the marine, I think. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yes, but then it helps us to kind of expand a bit into the problem statement. So now we focus on the marine animals and then, you know, the impact it has on marine animals. So can we think a bit more beyond marine animals? So if marine animals get, you know, diseases and they start dying, then what will that cause? Because it's always kind of beneficial when you define a problem to link that to a global problem and also for humanity so that the impact is kind of shown there. So why would marine animals dying would be a problem for humanity or the planet?
It would affect our biodiversity, maybe.
Correct. Yes. So you can touch on biodiversity. You can touch on maybe food source, climate change. So delving a bit more deeper into the problem and then sharing the impact on a more kind of a broader global scale helps. Okay. So solution. So do you happen to have a solution in mind for this particular problem?
Maybe we can like create like a plan to like move the debris, like creating like boats that could that missions to clean the garbage from the oceans.
Yes. Okay. So could you try give that particular solution in a one sentence?
Okay, so like every month one boat will remove at least maybe like 10 tons of garbage or and so we can remove and in this like a specific ocean, so we can target like that.
Right. Okay. So maybe the solution that you're building could be like, you know, I'm building automated boats, which automatically finds and removes marine debris, thus reducing like marine pollution. Awesome. And how it works. Again, we just, you know, it's an imaginary product, so feel free to think a bit wild. What are some of the key features, you know, or technology or data that you think you're going to use to build this solution?
We could attach like sensors that could like detect from the boat if a debris is there or not, and we could have claws to pick up the garbage.
Good. Yes. So mention the key features, such as, you know, you mentioned the claws and then the sensors to kind of detect. So it's kind of important for you to kind of clearly explain the key features, and then kind of if you're using certain NASA, debris data or maybe satellite imagery. So it's you clearly stating that in your pitch is important, and how you're using the data and what technology you're using, and what are some of the key features your product is going to have to solve this problem. Cool. And impact. So who benefits and the scale of change?
Like a lot of marine animals will be saved, and it would help our biodiversity to increase diversity in all the animals.
Correct. Yes. And it would be even more impactful if you can actually measure, say, if you have one boat, which if a one boat works for 12 hours a day, it can clean maybe 12 square kilometer of the sea. And then my plan is to deploy 10 boats. Therefore, within 100 square kilometer area, my technology can reduce marine debris by 20%. So if you can have quantifiable impact by measuring how much your product can function, and then compare that to a hypothetical scenario in an environment, and then share those data, that makes your pitch very powerful. So now the judges or the audience know, hey, this product actually can provide this amount of benefit. So try to provide quantifiable impact, and also relate that impact beyond like your immediate beneficiary. And finally, call to action and next steps. So what are some of the call to actions that you think that you might want to ask the audience in your pitch?
I would ask them for like funding to make the boats that can go ahead with the mission.
Got it. Yes. So that's a valid ask. It could be funding. You could even ask for, if you're looking for a research lab or a marina to launch your boat. So it could be like resources, funding, partners. For example, you may be having a marine background, but you're looking for a software person to build a software for yourself. So you can ask for, hey, I'm looking for people with these specific skills that I would like to bring onto my team. So these are some of the asks that you can frame. Cool. So that just kind of gives you a winning pitch in 5 minutes. Do we have any other questions, or anybody else who wants to share a similar pitch example? All right. Okay. So we can move on. Cool. So the next one is a pitch Mad Lib template. So this is a single sentence template. It's very popularly used in the startup and hackathon world, which enables us to have a clear understanding of our idea and enables us to articulate that idea during our early design. It's also, we use this to test clarity. So can someone understand your idea in one sentence? So it just gives you enough clarity and enables you to communicate your idea to others very clearly. And also it kind of gives you that initial place from where you can actually build out that 5-minute pitch for yourself. So it goes like, we are solving, and then you would define your problem. So you're solving problem for audience using solution because why it matters. Our prototype, what it does and has the potential to, and then you would define the impact. So it's almost like a short version of the anatomy that we just discussed. But having this in your mind helps you to have a very clear understanding about your own problem solution, and it enables you to speak it out. Okay, so let's just maybe use Dhruti's marine debris problem here. So we are solving marine debris for, so who are we solving for? So she mentioned like marine animals. It helps us to kind of define the problem. So maybe we can say marine animals in Lake Ontario, using the solution an automated marine debris collector boat. Because why it matters, it enables us to save marine animals, thus save biodiversity, and also helps create food source for humans who live around the lake. Our prototype, what it does, she mentioned that it has automated sensors and arms, which goes about collecting the debris, and it has the potential to, where you would try to mention a quantifiable impact, saying clean 2,000 tons of debris in a day. So that's just kind of a Madlib template that you can use when you are actually beginning to write down your pitch, so that it gives you a clear and concise idea. And then you can kind of start building out the pitch using the anatomy we just discussed. Can I have anybody else who wants to try it out? Maybe I'll give 2 minutes for everyone to write down, just fill it out with your own idea, and then maybe we could just share some of your ideas. Okay, do we have anybody who would like to share? Feel free to also write in the chat. I'm happy to read it out. Anybody? Just one more person? It doesn't really matter, how good or bad your idea is. It's just it enables you to think in a very kind of a concise, pitch-friendly version, and it's just more of a brain exercise. So feel free to share any crazy ideas you might have. Doesn't have to really make sense. Any takers? Okay, here we go. Thank you, Kimia. We are solving the challenge of expensive and unhealthy campus dining for university students. Yes, that's the problem and the audience. Using a meal prep subscription service, the solution, with affordable, nutritious options, because students' health and academic success depend on consistent, balanced meals. Why it matters. Very good. Our prototype offers customizable weekly meal kits optimized for budget and nutrition, and has the potential to reduce food insecurity and improve student performance across campuses. So that is what it does. And she also addresses the impact. Very good. Thank you, Kimia. Very cool. So that's pretty much it, right? Like it's a very, very a powerful a pitch Mad Lib statement. And it then becomes easy for you to kind of build out your 3-5 minute pitch using this. Okay, next up, let's look into some of the storytelling techniques, because I remember some of you mentioned that capturing the attention of the audience and keeping the attention of the audience while you present has been a challenge. So to solve that, we can use some storytelling techniques, because humans love stories, and it enables you to keep the audience engaged in your pitch. So to begin your pitch, a good strategy is to use a hook. So what could be a hook? It could be a surprise. You can make a very surprising statement that they were not expecting, so that they are surprised and they are kind of hooked to your pitch. Or it could be a question, so that they are now asked a question and they kind of feel the urge to answer. So that can be a hook. Or you can share an anecdote, something that happened in your life, or like a small anecdotal story that keeps it very interesting. So when you begin your pitch, try to use some of these kind of interesting hooks to begin your pitch, so that you grab the attention of the audience. Next up, tension. So what happens if problem continues unsolved? So you can kind of use that tension to keep the attention of the audience. So it emphasizes that, hey, if this problem is not solved right now, these are some of the bad things that can happen. And that kind of engages people's imagination, and then people then think, hey, now like I need to pay attention to this because this problem needs solving. Or you can share a solution. So your solution as a change agent. Your solution is going to change the society, change how we live. So then that kind of creates interest from the audience. Another technique could be hero framing. So you can use the user of your product or service or the community as a hero, and then how your idea or the solution is going to help them become the hero in the community. It's called a hero framing technique. So this kind of creates an illusion of them kind of almost watching a movie where there is a hero story, and then that kind of keeps them engaged. And finally, always use visuals and demo. Show, not just tell. So the underlying kind of truth here is that you need to emphasize emotional connection along with logic, because logic alone is not going to keep the interest of the audience. So it's important to kind of create that emotional connection, and humans are connected via stories. So you can definitely use some of these storytelling techniques to keep your pitch engaging. Okay, so some of the do's and don'ts. So what do? Practice out loud. It helps. It helps to kind of get rid of the nerves and also perform. Use visuals or demos. Be confident and energetic. Always deliver with passion. Keep visuals clean and simple so that it is not too distracting. Don'ts: don't read off slides. Don't use jargon without explanation. If you're using a jargon, be sensitive. As Stanley just mentioned, like know your audience and kind of craft your pitch accordingly so that people are able to understand. Do not overwhelm with text. Have minimal text and try to speak from your kind of storytelling techniques to engage the audience, and don't run over time. Okay, so let's make it another a group exercise. I'd like to hear more do's and don'ts so that we all learn from each other. Can I have some more do's and don'ts? Anybody? This can't be that hard. Yeah, use visuals that help communicate your message. Yes, very good, Danny. Yes, use the storytelling techniques to make content relatable, not just numbers and stat on a screen, unless necessary. Yes, agreed. It depends on to whom are you telling, but then it always makes sense, especially when you're pitching in a hackathon, to have that emotional element to it and keep your story relatable. Because even if you've looked into the past winners in the NASA Space Lab Challenge, there's been an incredible kind of storytellers out there who won the championship. So keep that emotional element to your stats. Yes, keep the speech and slides relevant to your topic. Do let all members of the team have the opportunity to contribute. Agreed. Okay, don't get carried away with one part of it, like just the solution or the impact, but cover everything. Agreed. Try to give equal importance to every part of your pitch. Because as I said before, especially if you're a technical founder, you might have a tendency to spend so much time explaining the technicality of the product. So it's important that you understand your time and make sure that you cover the complete structure of the pitch within that limited time for yourself. And finally, yes, Ethan, add passion to your pitch. It really helps. Correct. Yes. To pace yourself so that you don't find yourself rushing at the end, and do definitely leave room for questions at the end. Appreciate it. Thank you all. All right. Okay. So now that we know kind of what to do and what not to do, and also kind of have that structure to kind of present, let's look into some final tips that I've just shared, and I'm open to hearing more tips from you all as well. Time yourself and rehearse under conditions similar to presentation. I can't stress enough, especially like students here. It really helps if you don't have much experience presenting. It can be very different to you just kind of trying to practice in front of a mirror. So if you can try to time yourself, find some friends or family and practice, which kind of gives you a similar condition to actual pitch, so that you can kind of win your nerves and at the same time perform at your best. Prepare for tech issues and have backups, specifically those who are going to do demos. It's always important for you to kind of test your demos beforehand. And no matter how many times you test, I have experienced it myself, it sometimes breaks at the very moment when you're trying to do the demo. So always have backups. Think, hey, if it doesn't work, what I'm going to do. Maybe you can record your demo and keep a video so you can play, or you can have like a backup system that comes up if it doesn't work. Carry a power bank if you're using your like mobile or electric devices that needs charging. So be prepared. Project enthusiasm and belief in your idea. This is very important because people feel that energy. If you're not projecting that enthusiasm and not believing in your own idea, it communicates, and people are not going to take you seriously. And be ready for questions and discuss next steps. Another interesting kind of approach where you can kind of do is just brainstorm and ask your friends and family to ask you questions, and try to write down different types of questions that you may be asked, especially if you are pitching in a competitive environment. Answering the questions also becomes very important. So it helps you to be prepared for questions, and prepare, and having those questions and answers prepared will enable you to answer very concisely within that short time that you would have. Refine after feedback. Always refine after feedback. When you receive feedback for your pitch, refine, improve, and again present. As I said, and as some of you have also mentioned in the chat, clarity, impact, passion often outweigh perfection. So it's not about you delivering perfectly, but rather you delivering it clearly, showing the impact and also showing the passion. It outweighs it. Awesome. So that's kind of it in terms of the presentation. As I said, this is an area, a topic where I believe most of you have experience. So I really wanted to make this a group learning experience so that we all learn from our experience. So let's, open for Q&A. If you have any questions for myself, open to answer. And I hope I have covered most of the challenges that you have addressed at the beginning. But I'm also open to hear your thoughts, your feedback, anything else that you'd like to add to this presentation so that we all can learn from you. I appreciate that. Yes. And what will you change in your next pitch? Okay, yeah, thank you, Danny. Yes, that is a problem that you would often face, and it can also kind of like makes it a bit difficult. Like personally, when I pitch, when I see people who are disrespectful, who are not kind of listening to the pitch and providing respect, I tend to focus my attention on people who are actively and eagerly listening to my pitch, and I tend to spend my energy more there, so that kind of makes me feel that my pitch is some like valued at, and there is a person or people who are very much wanting to listen, and that helps me keeps my nerves under control and deliver. So yeah, that's something that I use, but I'm open to hear from you guys too. And you can definitely like say people, like if they're making any loud noises, or if it's actually like distracting, certain behaviors are distracting, be vocal about it. You can quickly say, excuse me, can you please stop shouting or standing or whatever that is distracting you, because it's distracting me. You can be vocal about it. You can take a quick 1 or 2 seconds to kind of pause and then address, and then you can get back to your pitch. Awesome. There's some, Discord server chats going on. Okay, cool. And what will you change in your next pitch? Anybody after this session? Have you learned something that you think that you might want to use to change? All right. Thank you, Oysen. Format and structure of the pitch. Appreciate that, Ethan. Oh, thank you, Anachi. Interesting, John. So usually at pitch, you are not negotiating shares or anything of that sort. A pitch is used to just kind of create interest in your product. That's all it is meant to do. If there is interest, what you would do is, let's connect later, and then you would create like a fundraising pitch deck, which is very separate, which will have all the details. And then you would also create like a data room where you would share all the like your financial projections, your revenues and whatnot, and then you would kind of try to have a back and forth conversations with them, and potentially you would include your lawyer when it comes to like share evaluations and whatnot. So that will not happen in a pitch that you're delivering. And if someone asks you such questions, you can always say, hey, if you're interested, I'd like to talk more later. And then you can kind of try to have this conversation later. Awesome, MATLAB idea. All right, awesome. Thank you all. So go build something awesome and tell a story people care about. And I wish you all the best for the NASA Space Ops Challenge. All the best.
Thank you so much, Vidhu, for your time, and it's a very interesting and engaging session. So, yeah, hopefully our participants got something useful, and they would be able to integrate it into their like pitch on the hackathon day. And also, I think they need to build like a small video to submit to the global judging as well. So I think they can integrate these tips for that too, right? For the pitching, doing it in a recorded session.
For
So
sure, definitely. Yeah, most of it counts. Even if it's recorded, please show that passion and enthusiasm, because there's a human being looking at your video. So it conveys, yes.
So thank you so much again, everyone. Yeah, so we will post this recorded session for others to view, whoever didn't join. So thank you so much again. Yeah. Good night, guys, everyone. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all. Thank you, Siren.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Bye.